You ever hear a sound that just stops your whole world for a second? Flips the script, makes you think, well, guess life's about to get a whole lot more interesting. For me, that sound was a garage door slamming so loud it rattled my teeth and probably scared every bird in Pine Needle Estate straight out of the trees. But see, this wasn't just any old slam. This was my grandpa Jack Madison making his stand, old school, stubborn as a mule. But man, when he decided to dig in his heels, you just let him. What set him off, you ask? Two enormous commercial trucks parked right there in our driveway like we'd suddenly opened up a hardware store. And get this, those trucks didn't even belong to us. They belonged to Karen Delaney, the queen bee of the HOA, the lady with high heels, sharp enough to aerate your lawn, and a clipboard always ready to ruin your afternoon. Now, I know what you're thinking, what kind of war starts over trucks, but honestly, the spark that set off this whole mess wasn't even the vehicles. It was a box of blueberry muffins. I'm dead serious. Karen, in all her passive-aggressive glory, dropped those on our porch with a note. Friendly reminder, your trash bins were left out too long. Also, I'll be using your garage this week for HOA equipment storage per temporary ordinance 42B. Much appreciated. I mean, who writes that? Grandpa read it, grunted, said she was drawing battle lines. Next, she'll claim the mailbox and annex your bedroom for a meeting room, he joked. But he wasn't exactly wrong. So a day later, here comes these trucks, massive, shiny HOA logos like badges of honor on the side. Karen, driving her Lexus like she owns the world, just gives us a little wave as her guys pull open our garage and roll those behemoths in like it's no big deal. Grandpa just stands there silent, chewing on that feeling of being run over in his own home. After a minute, he just looks at me and says, "Hand me those padlocks, boy." And when a man who once diffused a live grenade with duct tape tells you to fetch something, you fetch it. He went full fortress mode, padlocks, chains, zip ties, even a steel bar. He finishes, dusts his hands off, and says, "Let's see her paperwork, override that." And wouldn't you know, 20 minutes later, here comes Karen, strutting up in a blouse so angry it might as well have been a warning flag. She's waving her clipboard, launching into her HOA song and dance, telling Grandpa Jack, those trucks are HOA property, you can't. But he's already on the phone with the sheriff, speaking nice and loud about unauthorized vehicles, possible hostile acquisition, maybe even domestic terrorism. You know, just to keep it spicy. Karen's face priceless. Sheriff Dale rolls in, coffee in hand, wearing the look of a man who'd rather be fishing. He surveys the mess trucks in our garage, Karen fuming, Grandpa stone-faced, and just sighs. Karen starts waving her stack of rules printed and stapled and reeking of desperation. Grandpa, still in his sunglasses indoors, just folds his arms and says, "They're trucks, not equipment. My garage isn't a depot." Karen tries to pull the "he's just a minor" card on me, but Grandpa shoots back. "He's 17, fought off a black bear last summer. That's more authority than you'll ever have." Sheriff finally shrugs and tells Karen, "Unless you got written consent, you can't store this stuff here. HOA doesn't trump private property." Karen sputters, "But I am the HOA grandpa," just taps the locked garage. Sheriff tells us to try and settle it like adults, but nothing about what happened next was adult or civil. That night, Karen tries to sneak up and cut the chain. I catch her outside hissing like a cartoon villain right before Grandpa sets off the motion-activated sprinklers. She gets drenched slips in the mud and lets out a wail that echoes down the block. By breakfast, half the neighborhood's heard. Someone even bakes a cake Team Grandpa written in blue frosting and hands out t-shirts. Next time Karen drives by, she looks like she's ready to breathe fire. But that's not even the real twist. See, curiosity gets the better of us. Grandpa and I pop open the back of those trucks, figuring we'll find folding chairs, maybe some banners, maybe even, I don't know, a mascot costume. But what we actually find is wild, like straight out of a spy movie. Monitors, surveillance gear, folders with neighbors' names, logs labeled "fence violation" or "cat issue." Grandpa just mutters, "Son, this is bigger than muffins or mowers. We're talking federal." Suddenly, it's not just about us, it's the whole neighborhood. Next morning, the air in Pine Needle Estates is thick enough to chew. Folks walking their dogs slower, glancing at our driveway gossip brewing over the hedges. Karen hits back with an official HOA summons emergency meeting accusations of obstructing community resources. Grandpa grabs the summons, scoops up a squirrel turd with it, and says, "We'll go, but not quietly." That HOA meeting is something else. Feels more like a courtroom drama. Karen's up front, posters about order behind her, a crowd sitting in a half circle hungry for action. Karen accuses Grandpa of unlawful detention of HOA property and disrupting operational integrity. Grandpa fires back. "You parked 2 mystery trucks in my garage. Lucky I didn't strip them for parts." Karen slams down her paperwork, Ordinance 42B subsection E. Grandpa just grins and says, "That got voted down in 2011. Got the original right on my fridge." The crowd starts murmuring, and just like that, Karen's grip is slipping. She threatens us with fines with community service, even revoking privileges. Grandpa laughs. "Ain't paid an HOA fine since 2008. Not starting now. And those trucks, they're evidence." He whips out pictures, audio gear, folders of personal data and asks, "Anyone here been reporting on your neighbor?" Dead silence. Karen bolts for the door, crowds buzzing. We come home to find our lawn spray-painted pink Spy Queen Karen badly drawn, crown and all. Neighbor leaves us a casserole, no note, just a wink. Even the pizza guy says this one's on the house for the man who stood up to her. At this point, Grandpa's turned the living room into command center alpha maps, names, photos, lawn decorations, wired as cameras, garden frogs with antennas. "She's not running an HOA," he says. "She's running a blackmail racket." We know we can't just hand all this to the cops yet, not until we catch her slipping in public. So, Operation Neighborhood Watchdog is born. We set out trash cans on the wrong day, stick a couple pink flamingos in the yard, switch up our sprinkler heads each time Karen comes storming in with her ticket pad. But what she doesn't know is we've got a camera hidden in a flamingo. The wild card. Our little side crew, Dawson the magician, Nina the TikTok goose girl, and Dee the cat lady, sneak into Karen's own garage during the HOA disco night. They come out with blueprints, violation matrices, and a thumb drive labeled "Insurance Karen Only." That thumb drive full of audio from inside homes, digital profiles on half the block. She wasn't just nosy, she was a walking, talking privacy breach. We plant a fake real estate letter about selling our house, make sure Karen finds it, and catch her on camera digging through mailboxes. That's enough. We call a special meeting in the park, use coolers as a podium, and lay everything out. Files, photos, recordings. The crowd goes wild. Even Karen's assistant confesses. Sheriff Dale's just watching, sipping tea, and when the feds show up, it's all over for Karen. She's escorted out in silence, no last words, just a stunned neighborhood watching as the curtain falls. Afterward, everything changes. Grandpa refuses to run for president, but gets veto power and a lifetime supply of cinnamon rolls at every meeting. We rewrite every rule, no more surveillance, no anonymous notes, and inflatable flamingos encouraged. Karen's house goes up for sale, rumor is she moved to Florida where there's no HOA. Those trucks get towed and everyone comes out in pajamas to watch. Grandpa stands on the porch, arms crossed, looking a little taller. Kids get louder, lawns get wilder, and suddenly everyone's talking again. We even throw a block party. Grandpa wears a paper crown and a sash that says neighborhood hero. But you know what? Just when you think it's over, a drone whirs by, camera blinking, scouting for new violations. Grandpa chucks a loaf of bread at it, misses, but makes his point. We catch the drone with a net launcher hidden in a gnome. Inside is a memory card. Karen's final act, trying to set up a rival shadow HOA. Doesn't matter. A few weeks later, Karen's house is silent, her era, nothing but a cautionary tale. We find a tape in the garage, her voice saying, "You'll miss me. This place will fall apart without order." Grandpa just laughs, tosses the tape, and says, She's got it all wrong. All you need is folks who trust each other. And that's how Pine Needle Estate survived after Karen the neighborhood, the people, a little bit messy, but finally free. If you've ever had a neighbor like Karen, or been part of a community that found its way back to sanity, drop your story in the comments. Who really keeps your block safe, the rules or the people? Hit. Like if you think the real strength of a neighborhood is trust, not surveillance. Would you have stood your ground or let the queen run the show? Tell me your wildest HOA war stories below, because sometimes all it takes is a locked garage, a stubborn old man, and a bunch of neighbors remembering what matters to take the block back and write their own ending.